This is gonna blow your mind. Imagine waking up one day and suddenly, you can hear everyone's thoughts. No more secrets, no more lies. But is that a gift or a curse? In this journey, we'll venture into the unexplored territories of the human mind, where thoughts reign supreme. Join us as we ask the ultimate question. Could we handle the truth if we could hear it in its rawest form? The world as we know it hinges on a delicate balance, the unspoken, the concealed, the mysteries we keep locked away in the vaults of our minds. But what if those vaults were pried open? Imagine the cacophony of thoughts, a tidal wave of unfiltered emotions crashing down upon us. Picture this. You're walking down a crowded street, the familiar hum of the city washing over you. Suddenly it's not the traffic you hear, but a torrent of thoughts, anxieties, desires, fears, pouring out from the minds around you. The initial shock would be overwhelming, a chaotic symphony of desires, insecurities, and fleeting judgments. Friendships, relationships, the very fabric of our social interactions, tested by the brutal honesty of our unfiltered thoughts. A world where intentions are broadcast, where the potential for conflict escalates with every stray thought. The very foundation of civilization built on trust and social contracts shaken to its core. Yet within this chaos lies a glimmer of hope, the potential for deeper understanding, for genuine empathy. If thoughts were no longer private, would the truth set us free, or tear us apart? Could we learn to navigate this new reality, to find meaning in the chaos? The moment it happens, the world changes forever. The question is, would humanity rise to meet this challenge or crumble beneath its weight? The initial shockwaves of universal mind reading would ripple through every facet of our world, leaving no corner untouched, no institution unshaken. Imagine waking up one day to find that every thought, every secret, every hidden desire is now an open book for all to read. The very essence of privacy, something we have cherished and protected for centuries, would be obliterated in an instant. The very foundation of our society, built on trust and the delicate dance of social contracts, would tremble before the earthquake of unveiled thoughts. The agreements and understandings that have held us together would be tested like never before. How would governments function when every political strategy and hidden agenda is laid bare for all to see? The halls of justice, once the arbiters of truth, would find themselves in a world turned upside down. Judges and juries would no longer need to rely on evidence and testimonies. The truth would be glaringly obvious, but would that make the system more just or more chaotic? Imagine a courtroom where guilt or innocence is no longer a matter of debate, but a matter of simply reading the mind of the accused. The very nature of justice would be redefined, but at what cost? Would the concept of a fair trial become obsolete? The business world, a battleground of strategies and calculated risks, would transform into a high-stakes poker game where everyone sees everyone else's hand. The competitive edge that drives innovation and progress would be dulled, replaced by a new kind of transparency that could either foster unprecedented collaboration or lead to economic stagnation. The world of finance, built on speculation and the careful guarding of information, would be upended. Stock markets would crash, not because of economic downturns, but because the very nature of trading would be fundamentally altered. How would investors react when every market move is predictable? And what of our personal relationships? The delicate dance of love and friendship, the unspoken agreements, the white lies and carefully constructed personas we present to the world, all laid bare. The trust that forms the bedrock of our closest bonds would be tested in unimaginable ways. Could love survive in such a world, or would it wither under the scorching light of unfiltered truth? The romantic ideals we hold dear might crumble when faced with the raw, unvarnished reality of our innermost thoughts. In a world where everyone knows what you truly think, is honesty really the best policy? The social fabric that binds us together would be stretched to its limits, as the line between honesty and cruelty becomes increasingly blurred. The temptation to exploit these newfound powers, to manipulate and control, would be immense. Those with the cunning to navigate this new landscape could rise to unprecedented power, while others might find themselves at the mercy of those who can read their every thought. In the chaotic aftermath, one thing is certain: the world would never be the same. The societal upheaval would be profound, reshaping our world in ways we can scarcely imagine. The rules would have to be rewritten, the boundaries redrawn. New norms and ethics would emerge as humanity struggles to adapt to a reality where the mind is no longer a private sanctuary. Chapter 3. The dark side of mind reading. As with any transformative power, the ability to read minds comes with a dark side, a seductive abyss that whispers promises of control and manipulation. In the wrong hands, this gift could easily morph into a weapon, a tool for coercion and oppression. Imagine a world where governments can peer into the minds of their citizens, identifying dissidents before they even speak out. Totalitarian regimes would find their ultimate weapon, crushing dissent with the iron fist of thought control. Individuals, too, could exploit this power for personal gain. Imagine con artists, their minds attuned to the vulnerabilities of their victims, preying on their hopes and fears with surgical precision. Relationships, once built on trust and vulnerability, would become minefields of suspicion and doubt. The very essence of intimacy, the ability to let down our guard and reveal our true selves, would be lost. The dark side of mind reading lurks in the shadows, a constant reminder that even the most extraordinary gifts can be twisted and abused. It is a cautionary tale, a reminder that the true measure of a society lies not in its abilities but in its choices, in its capacity for wisdom and restraint. Chapter 4. The Mind Control Revolution. In a world where thoughts are no longer confined to the privacy of our minds, a new battleground emerges, the fight for mental autonomy. The sanctity of our inner world is under siege, and the implications are profound. Imagine a world where corporations, those behemoths of commerce, can tap into our desires, our aspirations, our fears. They no longer need to guess what we want. They know it, often before we do. Advertising, no longer confined to billboards and jingles, becomes a direct line into our subconscious, whispering seductive promises tailored to our deepest vulnerabilities. Every screen we look at, every device we use becomes a portal into our minds. Political campaigns transform into psychological warfare, with candidates weaponizing our hopes and anxieties, manipulating our perceptions to secure their grip on power. The art of persuasion becomes a science, meticulously crafted to sway the masses. The ballot box, once a symbol of democratic choice, becomes a mere formality in a world where minds are swayed with surgical precision. The illusion of choice remains, but the reality is far more sinister. But the battle for our minds wouldn't just be waged by external forces. The threat is not only from the outside but also from within our own communities and social circles. Imagine a world where individuals armed with the power of suggestion and persuasion can subtly influence the thoughts and actions of those around them. Friends, family, and colleagues could become unwitting agents of influence. The line between charisma and manipulation blurs as skilled orators and cunning manipulators rise to positions of power. Their words, carefully chosen, can bend the will of the masses. In this new era of mental manipulation, the very definition of self comes into question. Who are we if our thoughts can be influenced so easily? Are we truly in control of our own thoughts, or are we merely puppets, our strings pulled by unseen forces? The distinction between free will and manipulation becomes increasingly blurred. The mind control revolution, a silent coup d'etat waged within the chambers of our own minds, poses the ultimate challenge to our humanity. Can we retain our individuality, our freedom of thought in a world where the mind is the ultimate battleground? The stakes have never been higher, and the future of human autonomy hangs in the balance. Chapter 5. The Endgame, a World Without Secrets. As we stand on the precipice of this mind-reading revolution, peering into the swirling vortex of possibilities, one question echoes louder than all the rest. What is the endgame? What will become of our society, our relationships, and our very sense of self when the barriers that protect our innermost thoughts are torn down? What becomes of humanity when the walls of our minds crumble and our innermost thoughts are laid bare for all to see? Will we find solace in this newfound transparency, or will it lead to an era of unprecedented vulnerability and fear? Imagine a world stripped bare of its secrets. No more lies, no more deception, no more hidden agendas. Every thought, every intention, every desire exposed to the light of day. No more carefully constructed facades. The masks we wear to navigate social complexities would be rendered obsolete. Would this newfound honesty usher in a golden age of understanding and empathy? Could we finally bridge the gaps that divide us, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose? Or would the constant exposure, the relentless barrage of unfiltered thoughts, lead to a breakdown of social order? The pressure of perpetual honesty might be too much for some to bear. In a world without secrets, the very nature of trust would be redefined. Trust would no longer be based on faith, but on the undeniable truth of our thoughts. Could we ever truly forgive, truly move on from past transgressions, when the evidence of every betrayal, every hurt, is forever etched in our minds? The scars of the past might never heal. The ability to read minds could be used to manipulate, to exploit, to dominate. The power dynamics of our world would shift in unpredictable ways. And what of love, that most cherished and fragile of human experiences? Could it survive in a world without secrets, where every doubt, every insecurity, every fleeting fantasy is laid bare? Could relationships withstand the weight of complete transparency? Or would they crumble under the pressure of constant scrutiny? The endgame of a world without secrets remains shrouded in uncertainty. The potential for both great good and great harm is immense. Would it be a utopia of understanding and empathy, or a dystopian nightmare of control and manipulation? The line between these two extremes is perilously thin. The future is not yet written. The choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow. The choices we make today will determine the fate of tomorrow. We stand at a crossroads with the power to choose our path. Let us choose wisely, for the stakes have never been higher. The future of our world, our society, and our very humanity hangs in the balance. As we conclude our journey into the uncharted territories of the mind, one question lingers. What do you think? Would mind reading make the world better, or destroy it? The power to read minds, to unlock the secrets hidden within the vaults of human consciousness, is a double-edged sword. Do we embrace the unknown, venturing into this new frontier with courage and compassion, or do we shrink back in fear, clinging to the familiar comforts of our current reality? Like, share and comment, would you want this power? Want this?